Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Great to see all of you today
Good to see
for
you.
such a
Glad to be
nice,
here.
great. Well, we have a real special afternoon here for everyone who's watching because we have with us Sharon Malley, who is going to uh, talk about her work at Columbia Pike Artist Studio. And here is Sharon. Say hi, Sharon.
Hi, everyone. Do you want me
And
to? Oh, go ahead.
and we also have with us here today Emily Crews
Hello.
and Elisa,
Hey,
who
everybody.
who put together this exciting cocktail tutorial for us. So let's get started though by asking Sharon a little bit about what it was like for us to come in and work at Columbia Pike Artist Studio way last February.
Yeah, wow. It was really exciting. We've been in the middle of the pandemic, and um, there were many of us who weren't going into the studios for many months. And Jane contacted me in December and asked if they could come and do a site-specific piece. And I had seen a number of pieces that your company has done, Jane, that's site-specific, and I just thought, wow, this is great. And it was. It turned out really well. We had, a number of artists who were really excited about that collaboration. So it was great. Yeah.
Great. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a look at this little profile that we did in Sharon's studio and we were focusing on her work entitled Red Lips 2. And after we see this, we'll chat a little bit more. So let me just see if this is going to work. I'm going to add it directly to the stream.
This painting is Red Lips 2. It's in oil with some oil crayon. I had this idea of how I wanted to show young girl, which would represent me in the fields picking strawberries. So the colors are bright, kind of multicolored. I wanted to give the feel of being in the hot sun. For me, it was just this delightful place. That's sort of the dichotomy. About 15 years ago, I took a class on diversity for my work. I was working for Arlington Public Schools. And one of the first assignments was to recall the earliest memory that we had of racial differences. I suddenly had these memories. They just sort of came flooding of being on my grandparents' farm when I was really young. And they had a large farm on the eastern shore of Maryland. I would play with the children of the migrant workers who worked on the farm, and they were African American families really who would travel from the south and sort of follow, as the crops were ready to be, fields were ready to be harvested and so on. One day when we were just all playing, we always played outside, and I came running into the house and said, "Can my friends come inside and play?" And my grandmother just stood there and she just put her hands on her hips and she said, "No, they can't come inside." I was just startled because I had been playing with these children and I was, maybe about 5 or 6 years old, and the kids were of different ages. I just didn't understand why they couldn't come inside when I would have other friends when I was at my grandparents' house come inside and play. And she just shook her head and very solemnly said, "Honey, they can't come inside."
Okay, everyone.
Wow.
All right. So, by the way, anyone who's watching, please feel free to comment. We'll try to answer your questions and respond to your comments as best we can. But maybe we could start with something from Emily and Elisa, or if you have a question, or a comment from Sharon as well.
Well, I wanted to say I really loved everything about that. I thought the art was beautiful, and the way the dancer interpreted kind of the feeling of what Sharon was talking about, and the feeling in the painting, and shapes in the painting, and the way the video editing, kind of came together. I thought it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and it was very, it's always much more meaningful to get some backstory when you're looking at a piece of art. And your painting was so beautiful to begin with the color and the figures. And then, of course, your story is so touching. So to have it all together it was a very moving experience. I do have a question. When Amy was doing her interpretation, did she know your story, the one that you just shared on the video?
She did not know the story. Actually, the process was I had interviewed each of the artists before we went and did the video. At that point in time, I had often, as Emily knows, sometimes edit the audio first and pull sentences that the dancers work with directly. I didn't have time to do that this time. So I was just merely giving Amy some suggestions as she was moving. I did know the story because I had talked to Sharon, but I just finding that with most of these, I think your eye sort of finds a connection between words and movement anyhow. It's a very interesting thing to me. I've always been fascinated with that. I'm sure as Emily very well knows, but your eye somehow finds that meaning in that gesture when there's that word there to direct it or something. I don't know. That's my thought anyway.
Yeah, it really worked out. I mean, there were definitely moments where Amy seemed to be expressing sort of the same sentiments that you were describing when you were a child playing with these kids. So
I was feeling it too, and actually for me, it was like hearing the story told by somebody else. She, the editing of the video too, just the whole how it was all put together. It just and just her movements, she just interpreted it so well. It just really felt like, wow, this is my piece of art.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Sharon. That's very nice. But some things, that you say are sort of like you talked in that interview about asking the other children to come inside. So that kind of gave me the idea to have her exit the space and come into it. Sort of simple things like that. But yes, I too think that's a very powerful story. And really, when all of us reflect back, there are some fragments of things from the past that we, in a way, have to confront in a different way now that so much has happened. And I grew up on a farm too, and we had migrant laborers, especially in the summer, from Mexico primarily, because I grew up in Colorado. So it's definitely very interesting to reflect back, and yeah, I appreciated hearing your story as well.
Thank you.
Well, I have not had any comments, so I'm just wondering maybe if we should go on and take a look at what Elisa and Emily put together as a cocktail idea.
Sure.
How does that sound, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, this time I'm going to try to be a little bit more graceful. I'm going to take us all out first before I start the video. Okay, so see you in a second, but the video is coming. Take my word for it.
Oh, hey, Emily.
Oh, hey, Elisa.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, thanks.
Yeah. I got my shot. Did you get yours?
You did, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yes, I've had both, and as of tomorrow, I'll be fully vaccinated.
Awesome. Yes, I've had both of mine as well, and getting ready to be completely immune soon. You may have noticed, hi everybody out there, I'm Emily.
And I'm Elisa.
And we are here to share some fun treats with you, in hopes that you'll join us for Live from a Parking Lot. It's JFD, a live streaming event on May 22nd at 7:30. And we'll give you all that information later. But you may have noticed, not only did I get my shot, but I also took a shot, which is maybe a little bit more fun to do. And so I'm going to share with you a little quick recipe for a lemon drop shooter. All you're going to need for this is some sugar, a shot glass, a couple of pre-sliced lemon wedges, and of course, some vodka. Now you could use any vodka for this, but I'm going to bring this closer to the camera so you can see the label. This is a special gift that I got from my friend Elisa over there, and it is from a distillery in Falls Church called Frozen Falls Vodka, and it is so good. So I highly recommend it if you are able to get you some of this. So for your lemon drop shooter, all you're going to do is you're going to take one of your lemon wedges and just kind of roll it around the edge of the glass there to get it a little moistened up, and then you can squeeze a little lemon juice in the bottom. Just get some sugar around the rim. Then pour yourself any size shot that'll fit in your glass. Now you're going to have 3 steps to get this lemon drop shooter going. Get your other lemon wedge ready. You're going to lick the sugar off the rim. You're going to take your shot, and then you're going to finish off with the lemon wedge. Okay, so here's our 3 steps. You can do this with me if you'd like.
How is that?
Sweet and tart.
Wow, it looks so good. I wish I had one right now.
I know.
I guarantee I'm running over to the distillery to get my vodka, and then
That's right. And I'm a little bit hungry, so maybe you can share with us your treat.
Yeah, sure. One thing that would really go really nicely with a lemon drop shooter are some spicy cucumber wedges. Something a little refreshing and spicy as a pick-me-up, either after you get your real vaccine or after you take one of those shooters. And like the lemon drop, they are super simple to make. All you need to do is take a cucumber and cut it in half and slice it into these quarter wedges that look so pretty. And then you have some simple seasonings. I'll bring them up to the camera. You got some salt. I got sea salt here. Pepper. I'm old school here. This is just McCormick out of the box. But of course you could use freshly ground and that would be delicious. And then here I got some ground cumin and cayenne. That's the spicy part mixed together. And finally, just like Emily's drink, we've got some lemon. So all you need to do is put the spices on your cucumber wedges. I've got a few on a plate right here. So here goes the salt. Here's the pepper. Here's the cayenne and the cumin, all ground up. Now I'm going to take some lemon, and I'm going to squeeze that on top so you have something nice and fresh. Let me take a taste.
I can almost taste it. It's so good. Oh man, that's Elisa Kosarin, everybody, and I'm Emily Crews, and we are so happy to invite you to JFD. No, it's live from a parking lot. It's JFD. It's going to be a live streaming event on May 22nd at 7:30. You can go to janefranklin.com for ticket information, a little bit more information. We just want to share this event with you. We're going to, Elisa's going to be dancing. She's in a piece that I've created for the 40-plus dancers. And then you'll also see some new material from the Jane Franklin Dance Company members. So again, that's live from a parking lot. It's JFD on May 22nd at 7:30. And you can bring your lemon drop shooters and your spicy cucumber wedges with if you'd like. And I think Elisa has a piece of paper that'll show us where you can get your ticket information.
I do, right here, just in case you didn't scribble anything down yet.
There it is,
Wow.
janefranklin.com, live, parking lot live.
And be there.
All right.
Be there.
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing Jane's choreography, and of course, it's so much fun to dance in Emily's dance.
Looking forward to it. And we look forward to seeing all of you there.
Yep. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, here we are, Laura, coming back again. Okay, that was great.
We had fun doing that. Maybe we should start our own cooking show, Elisa.
I know. I was telling Emily I have a newfound appreciation for people who have cooking shows. There's a lot to think about that you don't consider until you have to do it in front of a camera.
Right.
Explain it to somebody else.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, though. I'd seen it a couple of times before today, of course, and I was chuckling several times again. So,
All right.
so
Right. Well, I give Emily the credit. She was the mastermind behind the direction of it all.
Well, you know me. When Jane talked to the company members and me about a month ago about doing this, and she's like, so does anybody have anybody in particular they want to work with? And of course, I've got my big mouth. You know, I'm always want to speak first. I'm like, I want to work with Elisa. She did give me that vodka as a gift, as a housewarming gift. You know,
oh, cool.
yeah. So I had made the lemon drop shooter for my husband, and when he was having a rough day, you know, and I took one with him, you know, just in solidarity. And I was like, oh, this is yummy, and that's an easy thing. So I thought, let's do something easy.
Yeah, it's just great. It's wonderful, Emily, to see you knock one back.
So dignified. That's what I was thinking when I was watching it. Really proud.
Yeah, well, it's a very interactive kind of drink because you've got the 3 steps, right? You have to lick the sugar, and then take the sip, and then squeeze some lemon in your mouth. There's a lot going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so while we're chatting here about this, I wonder, Emily, if you would talk a little bit about the piece you are putting together for May 22nd.
Sure. So we started working on it last year, actually. We were going to be doing the piece live in the studio, rehearsing the piece live in the studio, and then the pandemic hit. So we did the choreography on Zoom last year, and I always really had an idea for what I wanted it to look like in person. So we're getting that opportunity this year to put it together, and we've been rehearsing outside. We've been lucky and had beautiful sunny weather every rehearsal so far. So keeping that going, hopefully. And it is it's a fun little short upbeat number called Hoopla, because we use hula hoops. And the sort of general premise was I was playing with the idea of the hoop being some sort of boundary, like, our homes were kind of our boundaries for a little while when we were all pretty much, staying homebound. And then kind of playing with going in and out of the hoop and, kind of eventually having some more freedom and some more fun towards the end of it.
Right, right. And just so happens that both Elisa and Sharon will be dancing in this piece. Elisa, any comments about how this year is different than last year?
Oh, this year is so different. It's actually a joy to be dancing it again, but in person and seeing everyone live, and having more physical space to dance. It truly feels like something has come full circle, which is, I guess, a good metaphor because we're using hula hoops and they are big circles. I do remember last year when we did the piece, it was just when everything shut down with the pandemic, and we were just learning as we went along, weren't we, Emily, about how to videotape and how to teach online, and how as the dancers we could pick it up and work together. It was all so new and unknown.
Right.
And we became pros eventually. Still, it's wonderful to be back together.
Yeah. And Sharon's also dancing in this piece. Sharon, do you have any comments about, because you also did last year, this year as compared to last year?
Well, when we started, I had just gotten my second shot, and the 2 weeks after, it was the 2 weeks after I got my second shot. So it was my first time just being out and about, our first class. And I remember I was like really punchy because I was talking to people. But also too, just to be able to, I agree with Elisa, to just be able to be dancing, with each other and not in our living rooms. It really makes a big difference. And it's a great dance too. I'm really enjoying it. It's a fun dance. Thanks, Emily.
That's always the most important thing, to just really come together and really enjoy moving in physical space. I mean, I had one thing I wanted to share with everybody. This is still happening online. I'm teaching a Tuesday class online on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. In some ways, it's been easier for people because you don't have to travel anywhere if it's an online class. And just like Elisa was saying, after a while, you adapt your teaching style and all that. But I too am anxious to get back to being in person. So I am also wondering, we have not had any comments come in. I am just wondering if there is, I know one other thing I should mention. And if you do want to comment, we'd still love to receive some comments. I hope you can comment, because the other thing that might have happened is that I maybe set up the broadcast for no comments. I hope I did not do that. But anyway, another thing I'm really excited about with our May 22nd event is that we are actually able to do an online auction with bidding this year. Very exciting to be able to do the auction in this format, especially since this will be a live broadcast on the 22nd and still a virtual event. You will actually be able to participate and have submit a bid, and then someone else could counter your bid, just like if we had been in person and doing a silent auction by signing on the sheets. So I'm really excited about that for our May 22nd event. We have some good stuff on there too, so check it out. We had one board member in particular who brought in like an autographed baseball and winery and all kinds of things. So we still have some items coming in. It's been a little tough this past year on restaurants and other arts organizations who have been consistently part of our auction, and as is the case for many organizations, some people still do not know when they're going to return to in-person programming or how that's going to look. Just so the auction is shaping up according to what people can do. And as always, we're grateful for all our generous contributors who support us in this way by partnering with us for our auction. So, any other closing words? I have tomorrow at 4 p.m. We're doing a similar show, Cocktails and Canapes. Yes, Zoe pointed out to me that I should not say cocktails and canopies because she says a canopy is like a tent.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, but we have Cocktails and Canapes tomorrow at 4 p.m. This will be Philip and Peg. And as many of you know from some of Philip's videos and working with Philip, he has a real knack for this cooking show genre. We'll see it on full display tomorrow.
He does.
And also, we'll be showing another Columbia Pike Artist Studio video with work by Paula Lance and her piece entitled Afternoon Stroll. So I guess we'll go ahead and take it out. I will just take you out with another little reminder about what's going to be happening in the parking lot. I'm sure you already know, but we'd love to see you there, or see you online there. And someday soon we will actually see you in person. But it should be a good show where we have, happily, we are getting full support of Arlington County to do this. They've just updated their technology with a lot of live streaming equipment. So I'm really looking forward to having some extra help. Yeah, and so it should be a good quality show for everyone. And who knows, maybe the next one can be in person. So anyway, thank you all, Sharon, Elisa, and Emily, for joining me today. And everybody have a great Mother's Day tomorrow.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. And we'll see everyone really soon. All right. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.